Hi, I'm Choffe. I'm a self-taught home baker, and I recently competed on season 1 of Food Network Canada's Great Chocolate Showdown. One of the things I love so much about baking is that you can really create these beautiful and edible works of art, just like this mirror glaze cake. Mirror glaze is made from 5 simple ingredients. You're going to boil together sugar, water, and condensed milk, and add to that boiling mixture some gelatin powder that you've bloomed in some water. And then you're going to pour all 4 of these things over some chopped white chocolate. Now what you want to use here is real white chocolate, not chocolate chips, because those have different stabilizers in them and they won't really work for you. Make sure you get a really nice Belgian or Swiss chocolate bar. You can even get them from your grocery store and just chop it up and have it ready to go. So you're going to need some different tools for making mirror glaze. The first thing you'll really need, it's super important, is a laser thermometer. You can get these online, they're really inexpensive, and I'll explain why you need that shortly. You also need a strainer. This is going to help get your bubbles out of your mirror glaze because you want that beautiful shine with nothing to mar it. Also, an offset spatula can be helpful, just getting some of the excess mirror glaze off the top of your cake. You'll also need some pitchers. We're going to mix different colors of the glazes into these different pitchers, and it's helpful if the pitchers have a bit of a spout because that'll make it easier for you to pour the glaze over the cake in a smooth way. The last thing that you'll need is, of course, this immersion blender. And this really helps you blend everything together smoothly to get a nice, even glaze. And then, of course, the fun part of baking, all the artsy color work you're going to get to do. Today I'm going to be using some white food coloring, some black food coloring because I want to make a gray, and some pink and a little bit of peach. And I'm going to blend this all together to make a marble mirror glaze cake. So I've got here a small mini cake that I have iced with Swiss meringue buttercream. And here's an important tip. The cake that you pour your mirror glaze over needs to be fully chilled. So I have had this in the freezer, in fact, overnight. You would want to make sure you've frozen it for at least 2 to 3 hours before pouring your glaze. I now also have my glazes mixed. I have kind of a purpley gray, I've got a lovely little pinky peach, and I've got a white. And here's the important thing to know about what temperature your glazes should be. You really want to make sure you're pouring them between 30 and 35 degrees Celsius. Anything hotter than that, and the glaze is going to run right off your cake. Anything lower than that, and it's going to come out all clumpy and it's not going to pour properly, and you're probably not going to have a great shine. So you want to make sure you really have those temperatures right before you pour your glazes. Another thing to know about the buttercream cake here is normally with a buttercream cake, we have goals of getting sharp edges and having everything super, super clean around that edge. With mirror glaze, it's actually the opposite. You want to take your finger and run it around the cake and smooth out those edges so that the glaze cascades beautifully over the cake. So let's pour. So there's no rhyme or reason to how you want to pour your glazes. It's really up to you. You can do a bunch of different things. You can marble. I'm just going to kind of throw a bunch of glaze on here and see what happens. I'm looking for some really interesting color differences and patterns. I just want it to be fun. And as you pour your glaze, you're gonna see that these patterns kind of start to emerge. So here we've got some white, and I think we're gonna need a little bit of pink again, and maybe just a little bit more of the purpley gray. The point of this is when it finishes going down the cake, you're gonna have these really interesting, beautiful patterns. And some last little white on the top. Just let it go. This is the benefit of the cake being really, really chilled, because now, as you can see, it's already starting to set. If your cake wasn't chilled, it just wouldn't set properly and you wouldn't get that beautiful shine. So I've got a whole bunch of different colors coming here. I'm gonna take my offset spatula and I am just going to gently move some of that off the cake. And so you can see here, we've got these beautiful patterns and the colors look really interesting and they've kind of blended. And you can see now that the glaze is starting to stop moving because it's starting to set. So that's great. So I've let this glaze sit on the cake about 15 minutes. And I really want to make sure that my glaze has set before I do anything else to it. So this is beautiful in and of itself, but you can also, because it's a cake, decorate the top of the cake if you like, or maybe even the side. What I've got here that I'm going to use today are some Swiss meringue kisses that I've made. So I'm just going to arrange them on top of the cake, make a little pattern. The other thing you can do, if you're a sprinkle lover like me, I love sprinkles, and I've got these really beautiful rose gold sprinkles here, and I'm just gonna kind of randomly put them around the cake and really try to add a little glam and sparkle, as if you need any more glam and sparkle with all this mirror glaze happening, but I think it's just a really lovely way to just amp up that decoration. So here we have our finished mirror glaze cake. Isn't it pretty? Of course, the next step that I would need to do if I was serving this to friends or family would be to remove it gently from the rack that it's sitting on, and I usually do that with an offset spatula, and place it either onto a cake board or to a cake stand. So that's our demo for today. And I hope that I've made the mirror glaze technique a little less intimidating for you and given you some good tips and tricks to use to make beautiful cakes that will impress your friends and family. So thanks for watching, and please follow me on Instagram @SweetCatBakes.